Comes from a true story. This is coming from a true story made into a poem of a real event that happened down on the New Mexico-Arizona border back in the turn of the century.
No, it looks like
But
a
it was
sea
just
lion.
made into a poem, but this actually pretty much happened. You know, there was this mining town called Golden Gulch when the West was yet untamed, and there two bad men met. They made a bet. Their winnings were never claimed. The boys had ridden into town on a payday afternoon to line the bar at the Lucky Star, and that was Dandy Rand's saloon. The dandy was an ornery cuss, and if by chance you made him sore, his only law was the lightning draw of the heavy guns he bore. On his watch chain hung a dozen bells of the finest silver spun, each tiny bell for a man that fell when the dandy had drawn his gun. And they seemed to jingle merrily to a tune that brought him luck, but they rang the knell for the men that fell when the dandy'd run amok. Well, the boys had finished a round of drinks when the bar door opened wide, and in walked a man with a reckless grin and a funny cat-like stride. On his dusty boots he had golden spurs, and his face was lean and brown. But on each hip was a well-matched grip of 6 guns holstered down. When he spoke, it was deathly quiet. He said, "I've come to waste some shells on a man they say has a lightning draw and a chain of silver bells. A dozen bells for a dozen men out buried on that plain. It's my intent to beat this gent. I'm here for the dandy's chain." Well, the dandy faced the stranger's gaze. His coat was buttoned tight. The gun swung free above each knee, but the bells were hid from sight. "So it's the dandy's bells on which your heart is set. Those are fancy spurs you wear. Would you care to make a bet?" "Well, the golden spurs for the silver bells, but I'll warn you from the start you'll lose that bet, and all you'll get is a bullet through the heart." The stranger smiled his reckless grin. He said, if the dandy tries, they'll find him dead with a slug of lead placed neat between his eyes." The stranger bent down, he unbuckled his spurs, and he slid them along the bar. He said, "I'm calling the hand of the dandy Rand. Come out wherever you are." Slowly the dandy's hand went down, and he unbuttoned his lapels, and there at rest on checkered vest was that chain of silver bells. The stranger's eyes now narrowed. The time had passed for talk. His hands undrawed, but still were clawed like the feet of a diving hawk. And suddenly the dandy's hand went down. He went for his right-hand gun. Nobody saw the stranger draw, but 2 shots went off like one. The dandy stumbled to his knees with a look of cold surprise, with a slug of lead, like that stranger said, placed neat between his eyes. And the dandy just stood at the end of the bar, apparently unhurt, except a little spot of red that slowly spread beneath the left pocket of his shirt. Well, the Golden Gulch is deserted now. Its mining days are done. There's wind-blown shacks and coyote tracks bleached white by the desert sun, and the Lucky Star's deserted too. It's all littered with sand and straw. It's where the laughter rang and the dandy's gang used to drink to his lightning draw. The golden spurs and silver bells, they still hang in their place of fame, over the bar at the Lucky Star, still waiting the victor's claim.
How do you remember all of that? Now one more, just one more.
All right, jumper cable.